Hey, what's up guys? How's it going? My name's Mike. This is my first attempt at a YouTube video, so I have no clue what I'm doing. But today, what I'm going to be talking to you guys about is the Schecter KM-7 Mark III Hybrid in Snowblind finish. I just picked it up. Came in just a couple days ago. Thing is pretty awesome. There are some things that I would like to address as far as QC goes. Just throw out there as well. It's definitely an unbiased review. In no way, shape, or form did I get this guitar for free or anything else like that. I purchased it. It's my personal guitar. But yeah, let's get on with the video. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started at the headstock. Now if you see, this isn't your typical Schecter shaped headstock. It's a little bit different. This was specifically designed by Keith Merrow for the KM Mark III series guitars. And to be honest with you, I really dig it. It's aesthetically pleasing, it's modern, it's sleek, just all around it's a very nice looking headstock. It's got matching finish with the rest of the body. It's also got black binding all the way around, as the rest of the guitar does as well. We've also got a set of Schecter locking tuners. Now, honestly, I've never had any experience with Schecter locking tuners. And to be honest, this is only my second Schecter ever. Before this one, I had the Keith Merrow 7 Mark III Standard. So the tier below this one, actually, the entry level of the KM series. And it did not have Schecter locking tuners. So we'll see how these go. So far, so good. The locks on the back are very sturdy. They're not loose or anything like that. And all around, the stability so far from them seemed pretty good. Even whenever I got it out of the box, this thing was pretty much in tune except for the low E and the low B string. So moving on, we've got our Ernie ball compensated nut. This nut is amazing for tuning stability and stuff. A lot of other guitar companies will just slap a cheap plastic nut on there and call it good, but Schecter went above and beyond with the help of Keith Merrow and putting an Ernie ball compensated nut in there to help with the tuning stability. And he puts them on all of his guitars, and I can understand why. This thing is really great. Moving along, we've got our fretboard. The radius on this fretboard is compound radius, so it goes from 12 to 16. So it's good for playing chords up top. It's also good for shredding some good stuff down below. This fretboard is maple, as you can tell. It's got extra jumbo stainless steel frets. We've got offset black dot inlay with an aluminum circle around the black dot. So man, this thing really does stand out. Aesthetically, just looks super clean and really makes the fretboard look nice. Now if we come over here to the side of the fretboard, or the neck, whichever you want to call it, we've got black binding as well. And on top of that, we've got some lumen lay side dots. Now the standard series that I had before this also had lumen lay, but I have yet to actually see that on stage. So hopefully once all this Corona stuff remedies itself, I'll actually get to see what these look like on stage. Moving on, we've got down here our truss rod adjustment wheel. Now typically on a guitar, your truss rod adjustment would be up here at the top, and you'd have a truss rod cover. Sometimes they can look kind of clunky or just kind of off place or whatever. So the fact that Schecter has actually moved this down here is not only aesthetically pleasing, but it's also super functional, being that you can make adjustments on the fly super quick. You don't have to remove any screws or anything else like that. Try to dig in too badly in between strings that are super tight. It's just there. You can make a quick adjustment before you hit the stage and get your guitar nice and set up right. Super cool that a lot of companies are actually starting to move that route. So if we take a look just below our neck there, on the body we've got a set of custom voiced Keith Merrow Fishman Fluence pickups. Now what's really awesome about these is that typically his pickups come with 3 voices from Fishman, but these ones were specifically voiced for these guitars. So you can't find these anywhere else. You can't buy them after, from any manufacturer or anything else like that. They only come on these guitars, so I'm pretty excited about that. I have Keith Merrow's pickups in all of my other guitars, and to be honest with you, they are definitely some of my favorite Fishman pickups. And I'm sure these are going to join the ranks just as easily. They sound amazing. On top of that, we've got a hip shot bridge, hardtail bridge, no trim, thank you. Anyway, these bridges are actually really good. They help with your tuning stability, and just all around make the playing of the guitar just that much better whenever you're doing, you know, your chugs or your palm muting, whatever you want to call it. It's actually super comfortable. It doesn't dig into your hand or anything like that. They're just really nice bridges. Also, we've got one single volume knob, and we've got a 3-way selector switch for your pickups. The selector switch actually gives you a very nice and pleasing click. It's a very sturdy switch, or at least it seems like it is anyway. On top of that, normally this would come with a metal knurled knob, but I went ahead and swapped it out for a hip shot O-ring knob. I don't know if you can see the O-rings on that. Sorry about the lighting. Anyway, but yeah, that's just personal preference. I know the Artist Series, I do believe, come with those knobs, but the rest of them come with metal knurled. Let's see here. Everything else on the body, you can see this Snowblind finish is just, man, it's awesome. It just pops. I mean, a white guitar is a white guitar, but this thing just looks so good, especially with the black binding on it. The body has mahogany wings, and I say wings because if we turn this guy around, we've got a neck-through body, right? Now, this is really cool. It's my first true neck-through guitar, so I'm really excited about that as well. Just take a second to look at that, though. Look at the contours on the body, the cutaways, and everything else. This thing, sitting down, standing up, is just very pleasing to play. Everything is just super comfortable on here. Normally, over here on this end, you would have your tuner buttons, or tuner buttons, what am I talking about? Your strap buttons, sorry about that. I went ahead and swapped them out for a DiMarzio clip lock strap. Once again, personal preference. Those are just the straps that I use on all my guitars. And I also didn't get to making this video soon enough before I started looking into things, but changing stuff out, whatever you want to call it. But that's just me. We've got a string through body back here that feeds into that hip shot hardtail bridge. Got our control compartment in here. And we've also got a battery cavity for those active pickups. So just in case you didn't know, those Fishman Fluence pickups are active pickups. Definitely the best pickups out there on the market. If you haven't already, I strongly suggest that you look into them. Just amazing pickups. Also, I'm hoping the camera will pick it up, but we've got a satin neck here. And to be honest with you, satin necks for me are absolutely the best. A finished neck, I mean, it may look really nice, but eventually after a while, it gets kind of sticky while you're playing from sweat and stuff like that, so it makes it hard to move around. This thing is super smooth, makes it super easy to play. In combination with the stainless steel frets, the neck shape is an ultra thin C, so all of that combined together just makes this guitar so fun to play. It's super fast. I mean, you can shred for days on it and just get in some super technical riffs. This thing is just amazing. All right, so let's go ahead and flip her back over. Now onto the other stuff. The other stuff being some of the QC things that I did notice on this guitar. So for starters, the retail price for this guitar is $13.99. So $1,400. You know, it may not sound like it, but to some people that's quite a bit of money. And you would imagine paying $1,400 for a guitar that you wouldn't run into, you know, as many quality control issues as I did. Don't get me wrong, they're not anything that affects the functionality of the guitar. The guitar plays amazingly. The guitar sounds great, so it has nothing to do with the sound or the playability of the guitar. It's all basically cosmetics. But at the same time, at that price point, I definitely would expect a bit tighter QC coming out of the factory. So if we look here, you notice that in the routing holes for the pickups, we have some just glopped up finish there, some glopped up paint that looks like it ran and they just went ahead and let it just sit there. Finished over it, everything else like that. So the, you know, the routing on this stuff is not exactly 100% clean. And it's like that on every single one of them here. Which, I mean, not a deal breaker or anything else like that. And nobody's really going to see it unless they're up in it. But I'm going to be the one up in it. So I definitely can see that. On top of that, there is some stuff here with binding issues. Obviously, as you can see here on the horn of this guitar, you know, there's just some little finish imperfections here. And you can actually kind of see the white through the black binding on here. Almost like it rubbed up against something, or maybe they just didn't finish it all the way through before they cleared it. A lot of the stuff, like I said, is mostly cosmetic. None of it is functional. I mean, affects the functionality of the guitar in any sort of way. But I mean, what kind of a review would it be if I didn't find anything that wasn't 100% something I liked about it? So if we also look here, so I did mention that this guitar has a satin neck. It also does look like some of that satin finish for the neck has come up onto the binding of the guitar. And if you look really carefully, you can see that there is definitely some chips in that satin finish that went up on top of that binding there. So it kind of just leaves a really off-putting looking imperfection on that. And on top of that, the satin finish on top of those luminlay actually kind of dulls it out. Now I'm sure it's not too big of an issue. I'm sure I can get that fixed, no problem whatsoever. But the standard KM-7 that I was talking about earlier that I had before this one, those luminlay were so bright, like ridiculously bright. These are still bright, but they're not quite as bright because of that satin finish. Not too big, you know, not too big of a deal. You know, it's definitely not a deal breaker. There's also, this one's going to be really hard to see, but there's just a finish imperfection here. It looks like it got no clear on the point of this horn. So eventually I could see that maybe possibly wearing away. Other than that though, there really isn't anything wrong with this guitar. And to be honest, at a $1,400 price point, it just makes sense. You're getting a guitar that's fully loaded, neck through, with some amazing pickups, some really good hardware. And man, just straight out of the box, this thing comes set up, ready to play. I mean, you can take it out of the box and jam. Don't have to take it to anybody to get set up, or to do the setup yourself for that matter. You save yourself some time. And yeah, it's worth every single penny. The only gripe that I do have is, you know, with some of the finish and the quality control issues. But other than that, this guitar is just stunning. It's amazing, and I love it. So just a couple of things I forgot to mention about this guitar. Schecter's website says that the guitar has a 3-piece maple neck. And there's also a video out there that Keith Merrow did on the Hybrid Series guitars that he said they kept the same neck as the Mark II, which were 5-piece maple Wenge necks. So I'm not entirely sure what neck is on this thing. And to be honest with you, it really doesn't matter, in my opinion. The neck plays well. The guitar sounds great. Yeah, either way, but some clarity at some point would be kind of nice. Bottom line, I would say I would definitely recommend this guitar. 100%, no questions asked. Yeah, there were some minor QC issues or anything else like that, but this thing is a beast. With all the specs and everything else that's on it, for the way it sounds, the Fishman pickups, this guitar is worth every penny of that $1,400 price point. And believe me, if you were to pick one up, you were to buy it for yourself, play it, you'd feel the same way, I'm sure. At the end of the day, the only thing that I really do have to say, and it kind of gets me sometimes about Schecter guitars, is that, you know, this guitar specifically cost $1,400. There's other models that definitely cost more, obviously, and they don't come with a case, they don't come with a gig bag, anything along those lines. Honestly, I mean, I paid less for other guitars and I've received at least a gig bag. Maybe hopefully in the future that's something that'll change with Schecter guitars, but even still at that point, Like I said, it's just a personal thing. That's my own thought and opinion. You know, take it for what it is. But all in all, I would definitely recommend this guitar. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut the video off here. Like I said before, my name's Mike. I'm glad that you guys tuned into this video. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully in the near future, I'll get to upgrade my equipment, as right now I'm recording this video on my phone. So hopefully we get some better equipment, you know, to enhance the quality of this channel. I definitely plan on making some more videos, doing some demos, doing some more reviews, maybe some playthroughs of different things like that. So I hope you stick around. If you can, do me a favor, like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, happy rocking.